are contemplating leaving MAGA and you're scared to tell people, yes, it's scary, there's fear around it, but once you do it, you're like, why was I even scared of that?
It just seems like this whole thing is nothing but deception, corruption, lies, division. This country has never been more fucking divided.
He doesn't care about anyone in this country. He wants to take away your health insurance, your kids' health insurance, your kids' education. He wants to take away the safety of the United States. Just let go. No one's going to blame you. We're happy if you leave. You'll be happier if you leave too.
Now, listen to you. You need to start doing the will of the people, not what you think. You are becoming a dictator, and I'm telling you that right.
They told you the base was solid. They told you the lines were drawn and the support was unshakable. But the receipts are in, and the digital streets are telling a completely different story.
Are you done with Donald Trump, or could you see a way that you would end up perhaps voting for him?
What I will say is that he's been a chronic disappointment, and I feel embarrassed that I told people to go vote for him because this wasn't going to happen, and it is happening. But I just think that the picture of politics in America is going to look very differently because of his actions. So I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. But this is not the candidate that I voted for.
We are witnessing the great realignment. Across the country, the sentiment is shifting rapidly from left versus right to the people versus the system. Millions of Americans who thought they were voting for an America First reset are waking up to a stark kinetic reality. They aren't just leaving a political movement. They are realizing they have been entirely abandoned by the apparatus they helped build.
I sense your aggravation, your frustration as I watched your Twitter feed, and you were in the minority on X, which again, it was just, I mean, X is completely saturated in neocons, the pro-Israel crowd, and people who would love to cheerlead us right into another Middle East ground war that's endless. I was grateful for your contrary perspective, Marjorie. Thank you for being here today, and give us your overall view on why you're against this.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Megyn, and I completely agree with everything you said in your intro. I'd also like to point out that X is saturated in bots as well, and paid social media influencers who just echo whatever their money tells them to say, the money that they're getting paid for. And so I think that just like our media has been nothing but propaganda for as long as you and I can remember, I think social media has turned into the same thing. What I do know is most Americans, and it's being proved in polling that's coming out, most Americans are completely against this war because, like you said, the president has made no case for it. We live our ordinary lives and we don't feel threatened by Iran. We don't walk around thinking that in any moment an Iranian ballistic missile is going to land on our head. We don't. Here's what Americans, and I want to read off this list. This is what Americans are focused on. 72% of Americans can't afford health insurance. 58% of Americans can't afford car insurance. 67% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 31% of Americans can't afford their back taxes. 50% of Americans are in credit card debt, massive credit card debt. That's where we are in America. And I campaigned with the president. As a matter of fact, I was one of the only Republicans that was out there for Donald Trump when the rest of the neocons, by the way, that are just cheering him on now, had abandoned him and were trying to beat him in a primary and stop him from being president again. I was out there on the front lines for Make America Great Again. And Make America Great Again was supposed to be America first, not Israel first, not any foreign country first, not any foreign people first, but the American people first in our problems. And God bless the Iranian people. I hope to God that they can have a government that is for them and that treats women fairly. But what we have seen happen right now is we have seen over 100 little girls killed at a school from a bomb, and I don't know whose bomb it was.
Hey, yo, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't trust a single thing that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, right? When asked if the U.S. bombed a little girl's school in Iran, this is what he had to say.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
Based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
You could tell he's not. Mr. Except it was Iran who did that. We're certainly investigating. But the only side that targets
civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran. Inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
You can't trust them. I'm telling you, does that sound like somebody that was telling the truth to y'all? Honestly.
Surprise, surprise. The Trump White House lied about the U.S. military blowing up a school in Iran that killed nearly 200 young girls, innocent civilians, blown up by a U.S. airstrike. And Caroline Leavitt, remember just a few days ago, I covered this. She said, that is completely false. We never blew up a girls' school. Iran targets civilians. We do not. Well, a U.S. intelligence investigation now suggests otherwise. And if the U.S. government is admitting it, and if the U.S. intelligence is suggesting that we did this, well, they're not even lying about it. They're not even trying to hide what happened.
When the most fiercely loyal voices in the movement start using words like abandoned on national platforms, the system has reached a breaking point. This isn't just grassroots frustration. This is an institutional fracture.
It is day 361 of President Trump's second term, and we've got a brand new CNN poll about President Trump's first year back in office. As our political director, David Chalian, said this morning, you really have to squint hard to find even a small piece of good news for the president in this poll. A majority of the country, 58%, say President Trump's first year has been a failure. That includes 2/3 of independent voters. Now, why is that? Across the board, Americans disapprove of how the president is handling every major issue. He's at 39% on the economy, 42% on immigration. Those are two of the biggest reasons that voters say they sent him back to the White House. The economy is far and away Americans' top concern and has been for years. Right now, 2/3 of voters say the president is focused on the wrong things. And maybe even more importantly, 2/3 say they don't think he cares about people like them. It's a new year. It is an election year. And whether the White House can reverse these trend lines can be and will be critical in November.
Look at the polling data. The mainstream networks are calling it historically bad, but even that is an understatement. The working class is looking at their shrinking bank accounts, looking at the $1.28 trillion in national credit card debt, and realizing the math doesn't add up. They were promised economic relief and domestic focus. Instead, they are being asked to foot the bill for a global game they never agreed to play.
I just want to say to everyone out there that I am sincerely sorry for ever having voted for Donald Trump, given this war that's going on and everything else in our country. I mean, this is just a bridge too far. He's going to war on feelings and instincts, which really means that he's just winging it. He has no idea what he's doing, what he's talking about. And now we have a ground war starting in Iran. This is going to be Iraq 2.0, and we're just doing it on behalf of the Israeli government. They've been wanting this probably since the 1980s, I'd imagine. So it's just too much. And I'm sorry to everyone out there that I ever voted for this guy. And
that's really all we can ask for at this point. And I would also ask for, get out here and vote in the midterms. Do not vote for MAGA candidates. I would ask that. And then, listen, the 2028 presidential election is a lot closer than we all think. Right after the midterms, that's all that's going to be talked about. So do your due diligence and say, okay, I made a mistake. I admit that myself. I never liked Donald Trump. I never voted for Donald Trump, but I also didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. And I owned that. And, a year into his presidency, not even, I said, man, I made a mistake. And I said, I would never make that same mistake again. I had no idea the monster that Donald Trump would turn into. I didn't know enough. I didn't do enough research on his background, and that was my fault. And I promised myself I wouldn't do that again. My Joe Biden vote, not that I think Joe Biden's a bad guy, but it was an anti-Donald Trump vote. My Kamala Harris vote, I think she's a nice lady. I think there are better candidates out there, but it was an anti-Donald Trump vote. So I guess my question to you is, are you willing to do the same? Are you going to vote against these MAGA Republicans?
Absolutely. I have no choice. You have no choice. You got to do the right thing now. It's like, forget party lines. It's just go do the right thing. It's just BS or normalcy.
Yeah. I can respect that. Before I let you go, if you don't mind me asking, how many times did you vote for Donald Trump?
Oh boy, sadly 3.
Wow.
Sadly 3.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
I'm actually surprised that you voted for him after January 6th. I'm not surprised that you voted for him in 2016. Hillary Clinton at the time, not the most liked candidate, very capable, but not the most liked. But after the insurrection, I'm surprised that that wasn't enough for you to say, man, I can't vote for this guy.
Well, yeah, I know it was really bad on my part. You know, just like looking in terms of like the economy at the time. I know inflation was really high during 2024 election and other stuff. I was thinking about how things were like before COVID hit. So I was just kind of like throwing all my eggs in one basket. But now I just wish I could have go back and switch my vote to Harris because we just can't do this anymore. I'm done.
What would you say to Donald Trump right now? You're somebody who voted for him 3 times, and I hear you now. You know, but you can't change your vote now. But what would you say to him right now?
Resign and go away.
Unfortunately,
go find a nursing home, go do something, resign, get out of here.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen.
This message is for President Trump. Since you came down that escalator, my life has been a living hell, and I fought through it because I am a fighter. I am livid over what you just did to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I voted for you 3 times. I attended every rally in D.C. on my own dime. The amount of money it cost me. I stayed at your hotel at Trump, D.C., sir. $700-800 a night. No discount for the military. Do you know that? Did you guys know that Trump hotels do not give military discounts? Our country's suffering, and you keep talking about all these things you're doing. I don't feel it at the grocery store. I need a Valium and a vodka to even go to the grocery store because I look at my card after spending $200 and I'm like, what the fuck did I just buy? You literally had a communist in your office and you were kissing his ass. I never thought I would ever say this, but I'm no longer a Trump supporter. You're a fucking disgrace.
Wow. So this is what it takes for MAGA to get upset at their orange god when it hits them in the pocket. Nothing else. They don't give a shit about nothing else. Only when it hits them in the pocket. Surprise, surprise.
Path. Nick Fuentes has done the like, I'm to the right of Trump, I'm the most pure right winger, and also they suck so hard that I actually want you to vote Democrat, and they betrayed you. And so these are definitely, they're on different paths, but you know, Alex would give softball interviews to Nick all the time, like totally papering over the fact that you guys actually disagree on like a lot of things now, right? Certainly your disposition to the Trump regime. Alex is just way too pro-Trump regime, and Nick has distanced himself, okay? Well, now it appears like the war in Iran is a bit of a breaking point for Alex. And perhaps he realizes like, hey man, my audience will revolt. I'll have nobody left watching me if I'm still riding for this shit, okay? So Alex Jones has on Nick Fuentes, and there are so many hilarious moments here. Let's listen to their conversation.
I got some horrible news for radio listeners. TV viewers just saw it. Just like I said at the start of the show, Trump has now announced forever war. No, we're not talking about a Hollywood movie with Tom Cruise. We're talking about...
Is it just me or his voice becoming even more Alex Jonesy than it used to be? Like, we've reached peak Alex Jones, like, weird, low, gravelly voice.
He just said 1984, forever war. Reuters. They're printing the article now. What the hell is that, Nick Fuentes? I mean, this is just... It's like Trump is an old barn burning down in lifetime.
Yeah, it's a sight to behold, especially for us. I think that a lot of people got red-pilled after the pandemic. Maybe they don't realize the gravity of this, but this is just like, what else is there even to say? I mean, at this point, this is the same guy that came down the escalator and said the war in Iraq was a big mistake. We should have never been there. We knew they had no weapons of mass destruction. And now he says we're fighting a forever war against Iran for regime change. You know, you just have to shake your head and you wonder how people are still on board. That's honestly the worst part is you go on Twitter and people are still making excuses. They say, oh, it's about China. Well, we'll wait until there's boots on the ground. You go, really? I mean...
By the way, he's not wrong because there's a poll that just came out. I don't know if it was, they asked Republicans or MAGA Republicans, but it was 85% of them support what Trump is doing in Iran now. Why? Because he's doing it and he's him and he's special and they like him. So like before the attack, it was like 40 or 50%, maybe a high of 55% of Republican voters said, I would support war with Iran. Now it shot up to 85%, just like the last time, just like the last round of bombs against Iran. So yes, when I say the Republican Party is a terrorist death cult, I choose those words with purpose. I'm using that for specific reasons. It's accurate. It's accurate, okay? Somebody said the only difference between Trump and Jim Jones is that Trump would charge you for the Kool-Aid that kills you, whereas Jim Jones just gives it to you. I think that's pretty fucking accurate. So now even Fuentes is going, man, these guys are fucking, they're brain dead. They're brain dead, Kool-Aid drinking, death cultist, terrorist fucking morons.
I don't know what people need to see for them to realize that we got tricked, we got betrayed. Now we need to try.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will keep you up to date with the facts and unrushed, non-biased information with sources.
Need to try something else. But yeah, it's shocking to hear these things. He goes, I don't have the yips about boots on the ground. You don't have the yips. We're going to deploy to the Middle East again? Seriously? And then they say, we can go indefinitely. We're going to fight forever. Now, in fairness, I think that when he says that, that is rhetoric. And that
Where's your Felford Again Award hat? Oh my God. Look, I'm telling you, it's an iron law of reality. If Trump says, I'm going to do this good thing, he's lying, he's not going to do it. But if he says, I'm going to do this bad thing, he is definitely going to do it. And this is one of the bad things. So it's going to happen.
It's antithetical to what he ran on.
Right.
I love how they're having these revelations years after all of us on the left, every liberal and leftist in the country was like, hey man, he's a fucking con man. He's a fraudster. He's a liar. He's a warmonger. He's going to say something and do the opposite. He's going to do more war. It's going to be horrible. All of us were saying it. Now here they are. Fucking, what are we? Over 10 years into the fucking Donald Trump political experiment. And they're like, did you know he ran on the opposite, bro? Did you know that? Like, so when he said this stuff, he was lying. He wasn't even telling the truth, bro. It was like the opposite of what he did, man. Oh, is it? Oh, thank you. Oh, aren't you some big special boys? You figured it out. You were able to piece it together. That's adorable. Like, and this is why I say, look, anybody who wants to flip sides and come with us, that's great. But get to the back of the motherfucking line, bitch. Because we got people who were right all along. We got people who didn't fall for it again 78 times. Okay? So that's the big thing is like, okay, you want to join? Phenomenal. Join. But let's understand a couple things here. Your analysis skills are just objectively inferior.
Because that's what the Pentagon wants is a 20-year war like Afghanistan that's just a big moneymaker.
It is antithetical. And here's the thing. Trump can gesture and bluff all he wants, but we are in the war and we're getting drawn in. So the problem with those kinds of things is, the Pentagon is going to take that and run with it. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Well, yeah, let's be clear. Let's talk about this. It just blew me away. I mean, the Iranians lost 2 million people. That's World War I numbers in the proxy war with Iraq against Iran backed by us. These people do not fuck around. Yeah, a bunch of high school and college kids are out running around protesting. They're not going to kill people, folks. The Muslims are willing to do it.
Okay. Not done yet, though, because now we got some more.
Can you speak to what you predict happens down this road we're going? And just, there's got to be other ways of leverage. If we can't leverage Trump, who do we put pressure on in Congress to stop this, or is AIPAC too powerful?
By the way, I love how for Alex Jones, like, he'll say something and the answer will be like, well, there's Democrats who will fight it. It won't even occur to him. Because, in his mind, like, liberal, leftist, progressive, Democrat is just like evil, bad, wrong, terrible, Satan, etc. And it's like, is there any, I don't know, maybe group of people that might be opposed to this? Yeah, the left flank of the Democrats, you dumb fat bitch. But that won't occur to him because, they're bad.
I think what has been set in motion cannot be stopped at this point. I think that the time to do it would have been in 24. And everybody reassured us that if Trump won, well, we would pressure Trump later. I remember Mike Cernovich said that. He said, well, this is how politics works. You don't know how politics works. I do. He said, you got to get Trump elected, and then we're going to work in the admin, and we're going to fight the personnel and blah, blah. And this is, I know we've had this conversation. This is always my refrain. It's like, we tried that. We did that. We did that in the first term. And by the way, how did the first term end? Trump ripped up the 2018 nuclear deal. In 2019, we're effectively in a war with Iran. In 2020, he kills Qasem Soleimani. We're shooting down drones. They're attacking tankers. You can Google it. There was an article, I believe it was in December 2020. Trump actually ordered the military to attack Iran, or at least was considering it, in the lame duck session. And it was only his generals that discouraged him from doing it. So it's like, this is deja vu all over again. We live this, and we tried all that. The personnel, the voting, the Twitter campaign, the hashtags. And I think that, now Trump is going to do what Trump is going to do. And Trump, who knows why? Blackmail, persuasion, whatever. Those people are around him.
It's ego. You said it now. It's ego.
It's ego, certainly. Whatever it is, that's what we're stuck with. And I think that if you want to really get it to stop, you just got to switch up and play both sides. You got to play both sides and go Democrat. I don't want to do it. I don't like the Democrats. I fully understand what they represent, but what else can you do to the Republicans? All that other stuff is flaccid. Protest, tweet about it. They know if you are going to vote in November that you're really not serious. You're going to go and rah, 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 hold up the sign. But as long as they get your vote in the end, I mean, honestly, what difference does it make for them? There's a little less enthusiasm. They don't care. So I'm really, like I said, I think that we actually have to think beyond this. And we have to think the only way out of it is 28. How do we relight the flame in 28? That's all I care about. And for that to happen, maybe there needs to be a little pain. The current GOP has to suffer a little bit for it to be reborn in 28. But it's not going to be Vance and Rubio that save the day, obviously, based on this.
Saying directly to Alex Jones' face, hey, big guy, it's time to vote Democrat. You might not like that, but you got to do what you got to do. It's the right thing, Alex. It's the right thing, Alex. Don't take it from me. Take it from Nick Fuentes and the Groypers. The Groypers are now the ones who are saying, Alex, hey, Alex, you got to go Democrat. You got to go Democrat. All right, but there's more. Here we go.
And I'm watching it sink by its own doing. And so this is horrifying. And so
he's literally going to nearly cry here. Watch. This is hilarious. He starts like weeping.
But I can't sign on to covering up Epstein. I can't sign on to World War III. And so that's why I tried to promote the optimism, because I fucking need this, man. Like,
hold on. What did you just say about Trump?
I said, Trump's a fucking liar. Inflation's going up. Gas prices hasn't really come down that much. Eggs. That's the funny one. The eggs. I'm mad. And I'm a MAGA man. Okay? I don't see anything he's done.
So is it safe to say that the illusion has faded?
I think it has, yes. I was for him because, everything he said, he played right into my hands. He just told us everything we wanted to hear. That's what he did. I can't even stand to look at him because, he's just he's a con. He's a flat ass, nothing but a fucking con. They all the right side, they say, oh yeah, the Biden side was so bad. Well, what's so good about the right side? He brags about doing something with our economy, but I haven't seen anything happen yet. That big beautiful bill is going to add, they say $2.5 trillion. It's going to add about $4 trillion to the debt. The big beautiful bill. Oh, what a joke. Remember what happened in the 80s? With trickle-down economics, yeah. The filthy rich got richer, and us guys that worked for a living paid more taxes. I'm disappointed, for sure. I'm real disappointed.